Hey everybody, it's Thursday. It's time for a new episode of LonsTV. Those of you who've been following me on Twitter, and if you're not, please do. Twitter.com/LONS. It takes but a moment. I would really appreciate it. But those of you who are following me and been following my adventures all week, taking the bus from Los Feliz to Santa Monica every day, it's just bad luck, really. Poor planning on my part that I had to end up going Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to the same spot in Santa Monica. But it added to 3 days of crosstown LA bus driving, which is an adventure in and of itself. Interestingly, I thought I would hate just being on the bus. Like, it's hot and you're smooshed up next to weirdos and it sort of smells and it's real rattly and all that stuff is sort of true. It's really hot in there. You don't notice, like, you're used to being in a car with AC and then you're in a bus with no AC and it gets super hot. But really, riding in the bus itself is not so bad. The part that I can't stand, that means long term I could never do this, is the waiting around for the bus. Like, it adds this level of, like, zesty unpredictability to your whole day. Like, you have no idea how long it's going to take for you to get somewhere. Not because you don't know how long the bus ride's going to be, because you can get a sense for that in like a day. It's because you don't know if that bus is going to show up now or 30 minutes, 40 minutes from now. I mean, there's just no real rhyme or reason to it. They have a schedule, but it's like, not really much of a schedule. So you end up just standing around waiting to transfer, at least I do, because to get to Santa Monica, it's 2 buses. I have to take one bus to Fairfax and Venice and then I get on a second bus that takes me to Santa Monica. So the whole trip then becomes this, like, adventure in transferring buses. Either the bus gets there and the other bus I'm starting, I need to get on, is, like, leaving and I have to, like, race between buses and it's, like, action movie, like, leaping forward in slow motion, or the bus I'm taking gets there, I get out, and then I wait 40 minutes for the next bus. And there's no way to, like, plan it. I've tried for 3 days now, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. And so every time you have to change buses, it's like a heart-stopping adventure. Like, is the next hour of my life just going to disappear in an instant, or am I going to, like, get where I'm going in a reasonable amount of time? The one good thing I will say about today's changeover is while I was there at Fairfax and Venice, there was another guy waiting to get on the same bus as me, and he looked like Alex Rocco, Mo Green from the Godfather films, also in the classic John Cryer sitcom, what is it, Teddy Z? Something about Teddy Z, The Famous Life of Teddy Z or something. He was in that too. But anyway, Alex Rocco, if you know who he is, guy looks just like him, and he's, you know, his age, like, well, Alex Rocco's probably old now, but this guy's in his, like, 50s, and he's super tanned, way, like, fake over tanned, and his whole outfit is like Richie Sambora circa 1987. Like, feathered, crazy, dyed black hair, bandana also tied around the wrists, like, loose-fitting, shirt with burn holes, like rags at the bottom, like leather pants, studded belt. It was like if you were going to an 80s themed costume party, this outfit would win, but he was wearing it, like, unironically, like this is what you wear out. And I was thinking about it while I was on the bus, like, it's really been 25 years since that was an acceptable style. Like, that, you see something like that, it's completely amazing. It makes the whole day of bus riding really worthwhile. And I was sort of trying to get a picture of him with my iPhone, but, you know, when you check your iPhone, it's down here. You know, you're like this, you're not like this. Nobody checks their iPhone like this, so I couldn't get a good picture. This is my old school Mahalo Answers iPhone case, by the way, that I still have. Years later. This was when we first introduced Mahalo Answers. Anyway, the real topic I wanted to talk about, I know it's been like half the show, more. I wanted to talk about the Oscar nominations because I hadn't gotten a chance to review them or talk about them yet, which is unbelievable for me because I usually track this stuff real closely all year. Anyway, the main thing I wanted to say in reaction to the nominees was I'm delighted to see that True Grit and Winter's Bone did so well. True Grit got totally shafted at the Golden Globes and, like, no nominations, or not nominated for anything major, even though it was clearly one of the year's best films. I picked it as my favorite film of 2010, but clearly, like, top 3 or 4. I mean, come on, it's impeccably, perfectly made. Like, the Coens just have a total mastery of style. But anyway, it was great to see those two films not only get nominated, but do really well. It's going to bring them both a lot of attention, and that's great. Not that the Coens really need it, but Winter's Bone, it's a great Jennifer Lawrence, the star, got nominated. John Hawkes, who's brilliant, got nominated. I think it's John Hawkes. Somebody, I think, corrected me about that in a previous video that it's pronounced like Hawkes or something, but I don't know. I'm going to call him John Hawkes. Anyway, I was surprised that the True Grit score wasn't nominated. Some of the scores that are nominated are great. I love Hans Zimmer's Inception score. It's often parodied now. It's like the bomb, but it's really effective when you're watching that movie. And I love Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's Social Network score. I think that's probably going to win, but like right up there was the True Grit score. It's really memorable. They use it a lot, like to build sort of the tension and the drama in the movie. It's just a great score. I was really surprised not to see that on there. And to see some other scores that, like How to Train Your Dragon, which I saw and really enjoyed the movie, but I don't even really remember what the music was like. And 127 Hours in King's Speech. I mean, it's good work. I'm not trying to knock it, but I thought the True Grit score was more memorable than those three. I was shocked, by the way, as long as we're talking about things that surprised me, Best Director, I think, is like the biggest upset category. That Inception got all these nominations, but Christopher Nolan didn't get nominated for Director, and David O. Russell got nominated for The Fighter. And allow me to couch this by saying, I'm a big David O. Russell fan. Like, I really like a lot of his other movies. I love Three Kings, and I feel like I've been championing that movie, and people have been knocking it for years. I Heart Huckabees, I also really like that one. I love Flirting with Disaster. I liked Spanking the Monkey. Like, I think he's a really talented, interesting, idiosyncratic guy, and I'm really glad that, like, this is gonna, lead to more things for him, but it's so weird to me that he's getting all this attention for this movie, which was totally, like, anonymously directed. Like, it's easily, by far, his least impressive work as a director. Like, I don't think it's a very good film either, but just looking at, like, the direction, really, the reason people like the movie who like it is, like, the performances, and it's a good story, it's maybe the script, the actors, it's not the direction, which is really generic, and it sends this horrible message, like, dumb it down, make everything 10 times more generic, take all the, like, sort of uniqueness and personality out of your movie, and then you'll get nominated for an Oscar. And I feel like maybe this is why we get, like, once people start to get nominated all the time, then they start making more, like, Kevin Spacey all of a sudden making, like, Pay It Forward. Where it's just like, the work itself, just, they lose interest and they start to realize, like, the best way to win awards is not actually to make, like, the best movies. One more thing to note that I want to bring up is Mike Leigh got nominated for the script for Another Year, and it was a really good movie. I liked Another Year a lot, but it's stupid to nominate Mike Leigh for these original screenplays because of the way he makes the movies. They rehearse together, him and all the actors, for months, and then it's largely improvisational when they make the film. So I agree it's a great movie, but it's not a script, really. It's more like an outline, and then the actors fill in. So, I mean, maybe if you wanted to nominate it and then list all the primary actors as, like, contributors to the screenplay, that would be fair. But it seems weird to nominate Mike Leigh for the screenplay when he actually didn't write a lot of the dialogue that you're hearing in the film. If you wanted to honor that movie, and it was a great movie, I would say Leslie Manville for supporting actress. You could kick Melissa Leo for The Fighter and Helena Bonham Carter for King's Speech both out of there. I mean, Melissa Leo is playing, like, a cartoon. Like, she's Wile E. Coyote-esque in her villainy. And Helena Bonham Carter's good, but, that wasn't, like, the year's most challenging role. Like, supportive wife. Like, it's one note. She's good. She's a good actress, but come on, I don't know if that's an award-worthy turn. Anyway, the one more thing that I will say about the Oscar nominees this year, there's always, like, a couple movies that get nominated in sort of offbeat categories, and then they can forever say, like, Academy Award nominee, and the silliest ones this year, Academy Award nominee Salt, Academy Award nominee Unstoppable, and my favorite, Academy Award nominee The Wolfman. It's up for makeup. Thanks, Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. That's one of the 2010 films we'll really want to remember. So that's it for today's LonsTV. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I will see you all back here tomorrow for the Friday show. And please do subscribe if you haven't, because why not? It makes me feel good. I'm a small petty man in that way. I appreciate it.